in production, prioritized. Base game, master levels coming first, DLC 2 coming next. And you asked for it. We will not be kind to you while designing these master levels.
How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having an awesome day so far. Just a new update for the Ancient Guides Part 2, among other things, for the quality of life and updates for Doom Eternal in general. This has been something that was recently updated from Hugo's stream, so I wanted to dig into a lot of the new info that we've received from the stream, as well as kind of explain the ending to Doom Eternal, the Ancient Guides Part 2 as well. So if you're new here and love Doom and similar content, then consider subscribing and setting up notifications so you can stay up to date with the channel. Alright, well, let's get going. So recently, of course, with Hugo, he had his stream where he played Urdak and Final Sin, and within that stream, obviously, he was able to explain a lot of things about the new DLC. I think that was something that was very necessary. We needed to hear a lot of stuff from the developers of the whole situation, and just in my recent review of the Ancient Guides Part 2, a lot of the things that I said in there kind of carried over to what Hugo said as well. It's definitely a lot of stuff that they wanted to do, just wasn't possible. Just because of the time, they just didn't have a whole lot of time to work on these things. And of course, with the development, for instance, like the boss fights, that was the biggest gripe, I think, for a lot of people, was the boss fight with Davoth, or the Dark Lord. It's just that they didn't have all the time in the world. Hugo mentioned that one of the boss fights, I think he mentioned the gladiator fight, it took about a year to work on that. Just one whole year just for a boss fight. So in a gaming development perspective, yeah, we need to just realize that there's just a lot more to it, and there's just really wasn't everything that they wanted to have to be possible in there. So that was great that Hugo at least was able to explain a little bit more of the situation, of reasons of what they did and their justifications as well. But of course, some other good news is that he definitely was open to a lot of feedback from the community, where a lot of people were complaining from part 1, where Hugo took out some demons such as some of the Hell Knights, Baron, Carcass, 2, Cyber Mancubi, Dread Knight, among other demons, especially in that first arena. It was more as a way to help with the balancing and the pacing. So he thought that was a good decision on his part. A lot of people didn't like that, but of course now he did say that he was going to revert back to those changes, and so we should see in the future update that those demons will be put back in there. I honestly didn't mind it. I did like the new pacing to it, but of course you got to try to listen to the feedback and try to make a compromise somewhere, and I guess that's kind of the middle ground, and it wasn't that hard anyway, with or without. So I guess that's great to know that they're at least going to implement that again. And of course, now another big update. Obviously, we know that their main focus at this point in time is going to be master levels. So this is obviously something that he emphasized when the Ancient Guides Part 2 was released, that the DLC was meant for those who understand the combat loop. Master levels are meant for those who are just like gods to Doom Eternal, that they're able to play like freaking pros. And so with these master levels, they're going to be great because it's going to give a little bit more end game type style content for Doom Eternal and for those who want that extra challenge. And of course, with these new master levels, he did say that they're going to be ones without the hammer, so I would assume for the time being these are going to be master levels from the base campaign. But of course, down the road, he did mention he will do stuff from the second DLC as well. So we should be seeing a lot of improvements as far as those extra master levels and whatnot, which I'm really excited for because they are fun to play, especially with the Super Gore Nest, how you have these extra options to unlock things now. That is a really great way to have that extra additional content, because the original master levels for the Art Complex and Cultist Base, they didn't really have any rewards at the end. It's like you beat it and okay, great, good job. But now here with these ones, you can unlock new skins for your weapon, probably some other skins for the Slayer, who knows. Now, of course, some other things I want to mention, which are really big lore reveals, I guess you could say. And then that's great that I saved this video till after, and I wasn't wanting to have a video about these topics anyway, but now with these confirmations from Hugo, it just makes a whole lot more sense to kind of combine them all anyway. So with the first thing I wanted to talk about was this one photo that we see in the base campaign in the Fortress of Doom that has a mom and her son, and then a torn off picture, of course, of whoever this other guy is. Now, there were obviously two theories whether or not the child was is the Doomslayer or Doom Guy, and then of course the guy that's ripped off is, you know, the Doom Guy as well. Now we do know that this is Doom Guy's family, which has been confirmed by Hugo, so we can see that, of course, that's another big motivation of why the Doomslayer is the way he is, like why he's always angry, because he wasn't able to save his family from the forces of hell, you know. And then of course, going on with that, we know that now the reason why we see Daisy everywhere are actually hallucinations. Doom Guy is so traumatized to the point where now he sees his pet rabbit everywhere, but she's really not there. You know, he misses her so much that he's seen hallucinations, he misses his family, and, you know, it just makes a whole lot of sense of why he is the way he is, why he's so angry, and why he just doesn't want to talk anymore, because he's so fed up with everybody doing the things that they do, like the UAC, you know, the Night Sentinels, the people of Argent and Nurk being all corrupted and doing all those things. Like, it just makes so much sense of why he is the way he is. It's just, I really feel bad for him as far as what is going on. And now with the ending from part 2, we know that obviously he beats the Dark Lord, which, you know, of course wasn't the best fight in the world, but at least that epic conclusion is over. However, now this is a really big thing that somebody asked in the stream, is seeing if there was anybody more powerful than Davoth. And, you know, as far as what we know now is that there is some type of entity or power or god that is stronger than Davoth. And so according to this new theory that at least I'm building up, maybe other people in the community as well, is that when the father says that Davoth is the first creation, now two things come to my mind. Now, either the Dark Lord was created out of nothing, kind of like the Big Bang, or he was the first creation of the first creator, or just another god. So if that is the case, then that would definitely kind of build up the new Doom games, whether or not this person is actually a good god, kind of like the father, kind of, or it would be more of an evil god. So I guess we'll find out. Obviously, there's plenty of different options and stories to tell within the Doom universe, and I'm really excited for that, because there's just so much we can see now with all of these antagonists out of the way, like the Con Maker, Icon of Sin, Davoth. It's a huge power vacuum, so whether or not the makers want to start taking control again and twisting things, maybe somehow they'll want to resurrect the father, because he still has a presence, even though yes, his life sphere is destroyed, but who's to say that they can't create another life sphere? You know, if he still exists in some form or another, then who's to say that it's not hard to create another life sphere and then resurrect him altogether? So there's definitely a lot of possibilities down the road there. Of course, another thing I wanted to mention is that when Hugo was playing Urdak, at the end of beating the Con Maker, there's a mysterious voice that says no, or screams no. Now, for a long time in the subtitles, it said mysterious voice, and then after, I think around the time of Ancient Gods Part 1, the subtitles reverted to the Dark Lord. But then, of course, now with the Ancient Gods Part 2, if you've noticed in the stream, it's actually now reverted back to mysterious voice. So this could also be implying that there is another higher power out there. With the lore, it could be retconning a lot of things, but if we are to kind of look at it at face value or whatnot, you know, you can see why it would not make sense if the Dark Lord is mad that the Con Maker is dead, because that was his whole plan to begin with. Now, of course, it did make sense prior to the DLCs that the Dark Lord would be angry, because then by killing the Con Maker, that would end the whole agreement of hell being able to invade other worlds and getting souls and all that stuff. So it's definitely something to kind of take into consideration, that there may be definitely another higher power in play. We don't know. So that might be another way for them to set up the future Doom game. So I guess we'll have to see on that. And of course, with Hugo, he did mention that, of course, the Doomslayer, he's only sleeping, and quote unquote, the beast is sleeping. So there's definitely gonna be some more Doom games down the road, but in the meantime, like I mentioned in my review, that this will at least give id Software more time, of course, to keep focusing on Doom Eternal with those updates, with master levels, invasion mode, and whatnot, maybe updates to battle mode. But then also, of course, we got to keep in mind that there's other franchises that they could work on. They could either work on more Quake content. I would love to see some kind of Quake revival or reboot. A lot of people in the community would love to see more of the first Quake, or even with the Strogg. I think it'd be great if they could combine the two somehow and just kind of reboot all of the Quakes and kind of get everything all in the same universe. If they don't do that, then it'd be great to see what id Software can do with a whole new IP, because id Software has some of the brightest minds there. I'm sure they can come up with anything. But other than that, that is pretty much it as far as the new info that we know. The last thing, of course, I want to mention though is that now Hugo will play actually part 1 and part 2 of the DLCs, and of course that's awesome to see how he's going to be digging more into that. So that's going to give us more opportunities to, get more answers for the lore, for gameplay, for justifications of development stuff, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are as well. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it so we can get it out there more. Also, check out my social media accounts at RipNtear Gaming, as well as my Discord. So if you want to see, more things over there, or kind of continue the conversation with like-minded individuals and be cool like Hump, then go ahead and join the Discord. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great one. And until next time, don't forget to rip and tear. Peace.